of vital medical equipment worth about $1.5 million. The items were provided by Boyam native Ansumana Sua and his wife under the aegis of a German-based charity. We have details in this report by Samuel Ba.
Many like Ansumana Sua have left Gambian shores in search of greener pastures. But when it all appears rosy in those foreign lands, very few would look back to stretch out a helping hand. But this is not the case with Ansumana Sua, who left home to make ends meet many years ago. A native of Buam Kankuntu, he seems to know exactly the health needs his community is grappling with, as he donates beds, wheelchairs and crutches, water coolers with filters, carriers and walking sticks.
I want to urge Gambians in the diaspora to please emulate what Ansumana have done. And when we do so, there is a lot we can attain. There is a lot we can do for the health sector. There is a lot we can do for the educational sector. There is a lot we can do for the sports sector. You name it.
The Gambia German charitable organization is currently led by the likes of Ansumana, among other Gambians, with the sole objective of contributing to nation building. One man that dedicated his time and energy in facilitating the donation of the items is Pa Usman Bojang of KGI.
The sole concept of this charity and Friends of the Gambia is to raise funds to complement the effort of the government of the Republic of the Gambia in the health care system, the school system, and garden program for schools and villages in the Gambia.
Speaker after speaker applauded the philanthropic gesture, which they say will beef up ongoing efforts in health service delivery.
This noble, coming from an area, travel in the wider world to look for greener pasture, and in turn you reflect back home. For me, I see it as a noble gesture.
The coming of these items is timely and will facilitate the works of the staffs of the hospitals.
Development requires concerted effort. As the Alkali previously said, there's no single government in this country, in this world, that can create everything, provide everything for her citizens. It requires every patriotic citizen to play out your role, and this is what Mr. Sua has exactly done.
For a hospital with an admission ratio of about 150,000 patients annually, officials are grateful for such a gesture as they pledge unalloyed commitment to service.
SJGH serves a population of about 150,000 inhabitants, including not only the length and breadth of the Phonis, but also the Casamas and other regions of the Gambia, such as people coming from all the way from the Combos and even as far as Mandinaba in the lower river region.
Only Ansumana can tell the challenges and hitches that he has faced in Germany to gather these things.
Hospital facilities were also inspected by the team. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
You can monitor GRTS Radio live on our website at www.grts.gm. That takes us to our first break. We'll be right back. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل. Welcome back. Thousands of Christians in the Democratic Republic of Congo have been marching in the streets of the country's capital, demanding an end to the war in the eastern part of that country. The protest action, which is in response to calls made by bishops in Kinshasa, is the first such rally allowed by the Kabila government since last November's election campaign. We have more in this report.
Responded to calls from archbishops in Kinshasa and around the country to protest against the war. Marchers set out from their parishes carrying Bibles, singing and praying for the end to the war in North Kivu, where a group of rebels called M23 are on the point of capturing the city of Goma.
We want an end to the war in the east and an end to the pillaging of our resources. We also want to put an end to this Machiavellian plan to balkanize the country. We were led to believe that if Mobutu left power, it would be to the country's benefit, but I believe the process made the country more vulnerable and our borders more porous. We don't own this country anymore.
Marches of hope were held in coordination around the country. Turnout was particularly strong in Bukavu, the main city in South Kivu. Here, residents have had a lot of painful experience of the numerous wars that have taken place in North and South Kivu. They refuse to hear of any talk of the regions succeeding.
We must not follow South Sudan's example because those people were in favor of balkanization. In our case, it is foreign powers, our neighbors, who want to balkanize the Congo.
This is the first time the Kinshasa government has authorized rallies such as this one since the last election campaign in November 2011. Last December, violence was used against Christian demonstrators protesting against electoral fraud.
Mali's interim president, John Kunda Traore, has had his first cabinet meeting since his return to the country 6 days ago. Like a man making up for lost time, the interim president vowed to put the country back on track. He has been busy holding talks with the major players in Malian politics as part of efforts to form a government of national unity. Details in this report.
It was Kunda Traore's first ministerial meeting since his return to Mali 6 days ago. There was a tense face-to-face meeting with his Prime Minister, Sheikh Modibo Diarra. Then there was a brief session with his ministers. The interim president left the meeting early.
We have to hurry. We have to put this country back on track for good.
For the past 3 days, Traore has been holding meeting after meeting trying to form a government of national union. Politicians, religious leaders, and civil society activists have all been making their way to the interim president's residence.
For us, it is not a question of sharing out the cake today. It's a question of sharing the burden.
Kunda Traore is trying to make up for lost time. During the 3 months he was recovering from his wounds in Paris, the Prime Minister was dragging his feet at home, failing to meet West African demands. No sooner did the President return last weekend than he took command and went on television to announce his plan to save the country. He has the country's backing, everybody's, except for those who supported the coup d'etat.
We believe the government of national union must come after the nation has been consulted. First, we have to concentrate, discuss, work out a roadmap to the preoccupations we have today.
Prime Minister Sheikh Modibo Diarra has a narrow margin for maneuver. Either he accepts the role of a mere figurehead and surrenders the absolute power ECOWAS gave him in April, or he steps down.
Plans by Israel to make military service compulsory for ultra-Orthodox Jews are being received with mixed feelings. The men who spend most of their time reading the Torah says the Netanyahu government should come up with an alternative law that would allow them to serve the military in line with their unique lifestyle. Let's look at this report for more on that.
The men in black, the ultra-Orthodox Haredim, serve in the Israeli army. Defense Minister Ehud Barak has a month to come up with an answer. On August 1st, the Tal law, which had always exempted the Haredim from military service, expired. Most spend their days studying Torah. Israeli military service is done by mainstream religious and secular Jews and the Druze and Bedouin sectors of Arab society. The Haredim are against it. This will not happen. The Haredim will not do army service. They will leave the country if they cannot spend their days studying Torah. What should be done? The government must act intelligently and come up with another alternative law that allows the ultra-Orthodox to do the army under conditions compatible with their lifestyle. At the creation of the State of Israel in 1948, Haredim students numbered several hundred. Today they number 60,000 of a total Haredim population of 700,000. Secular Israelis consider this unfair.
Of course the Haredim should do army service. They live here like we do. That they are ultra-Orthodox changes. One who lives here must do their military service as long as it is compulsory.
Every and each of our citizens of this country will be forced to go and do what I was forced to do, is to join the army and to take upon itself the burden of this society. Not only military-wise, actually, also take part at the labor market, to be an active part of this society.
This is a tough question for the government.